Oh, Laurel.
Thank you. You can feel the presence. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here, speaking before you. I'm speaking about something that's near and dear to me, prayer. It is something that I have longed for. I've been on this spiritual path for a long time, and yet I still find it difficult to have a consistent daily prayer practice. So this morning, when Delith led us out in prayer, one of the key things that you often start with prayer is your breath, which is what she did. So I'd like you right now to just begin to notice your breath. And just to say a little prayer of thanksgiving. Lord, I am so grateful that we all are here together today, sharing in the experience of your divinity and finding that divinity within ourselves. Help us to hear you today. Help us to see you today. Help us to feel you today in everything we say and do. And so it is. Amen. So really what's prompted this talk is I have this book that I refer to when I have those times when I often feel really disconnected and I can't seem to shift. And this book speaks to me, and it feels like it's the divine speaking directly to me. So I'll be referring to this book for the most part in this talk. And it's called The Healing Path of Prayer, A Modern Mystic's Guide to Spiritual Power. The other book that I have sort of referenced is How to Pray, Tapping into the Power of Divine Communication. So where to begin? As I was getting ready today for this talk, I noticed that we think that when we go to prayer to commune with God, that there's something that we need to do. And what I found out this morning, prayer is really about being. Prayer is about communing. Prayer is about tapping into that divinity within you and feeling that connection with all that is. I have a whole talk prepared here. And if I want to really be connected to the divine and be connected to you, I need to throw it away for the most part. It's not about doing. It's not about thinking. It's not about getting it right. It's about coming as you are, meeting the divine where you are in that moment. This is all about the moment. So this title could just be called Being in the Moment. It's my really strong desire to share with you that God, Spirit, divinity, all that is, whatever name you give it, is calling you and wants to have a relationship with you. And I believe it's Rumi who says, "Come, come, however you are." And Jesus says, "Come unto me." So, to have a prayer life, to commune with God, you have to come. It's very helpful to begin to look at communing with God, being with God, sharing in that divinity, and seeing that divinity within yourself. It's very helpful if you don't already have a regular prayer practice, that you begin to look at how that might look for you. Now, a regular prayer practice can come in many forms. It can just be looking at a sunset. It could be listening to the music today that we heard. It is coming with an approach of wanting to connect and wanting to be with the other person. So often we've been taught that when you pray, you come with your list of the I wants, or you have to do this for me, or prove to me that you really love me. The list can go on and on. But think about it. Think about this. If you want a relationship with somebody and you want that intimate, deep relationship, do you want them to come to you and be with you with a list of I wants, or that you have to? It's conditional. It's conditional. God is unconditional. You are an aspect of God. You are made in the image of God. You have that unconditional love within you. When you come with your heart open, receptive, attentive, then you can hear and feel God's love and light coursing through you. That is the main message that I wish to carry for today, for tomorrow, that you can feel God's love calling you, wanting this relationship with you, and your own heart and your own soul is saying very deeply, I want this. What gets in the way is our thinking. We somehow think that prayer is done in a certain way, which it's not. Eric showed us another way today through the Course in Miracles. There's so many ways. What works for you to help you connect to the divine? When you connect to the divine like that, you are filled up, because these are the attributes of God. What are they? Think about God. Think about love. What does that mean? It's light. It's enthusiasm. It's joy. It's spaciousness. That's you. And when you connect with the divine spirit, you touch those places in you, you get filled up. You therefore get healed on so many levels, spiritually, physically, emotionally. And when you're filled up, you can see the divinity within others. You not only really do, prayer is great, but you actually are a walking prayer. Your light, your divinity if you're filled up, just your very presence will help to heal others. It will help to heal the world. And this is all by your making that choice to connect with the divinity as often as you can. So why is a prayer practice helpful? Because we get busy and we forget. And things get in the way, especially our thinking. We've come to associate living with doing instead of being. So the thinking runs rampant. Very challenging to stop that thinking. But if you set a regular prayer practice, and I define prayer practice as communing with God, setting time aside to be with the Spirit, with Lord, whatever name you wish to give it, he, she, it, whatever, setting that time aside to be with the Lord. Letting yourself be filled up with it. So take a moment now, look around. What do you feel? What do you sense? See the colors, see each other, see the vibrancy. That's God manifesting in action. So we don't really even have to go to a sacred space that we've created for ourselves to get filled up. We can get filled up in each moment. Often when I get disconnected, I'll feel my body. Where's it tense? We were given a body. Yes, we're spiritual, but we're actually in a body. It's one of the key ways to begin to see how we're not really present. And really, prayer is about being, not doing. It's about being present. So I check in my body, and I'm going, like even now I'm checking in. Where am I holding tension? Tension is a form of resistance. Letting go of that resistance is an allowing. So it helps you just to be more of who you are, more in touch with what you want, and just feel that light of God, of the Holy Spirit upon you. It is helpful to have a practice, so I will cover that a little bit. To begin, how can you begin? It's really helpful to have a sacred space that you've created. And whatever speaks to you is what you would want to use to create that sacred space. In my case, I brought a few examples of what I have in my sacred space. But you would do it for you, however is appropriate for you. I have a picture of Gandhi because he represents compassion to me, which is an aspect of the divinity. I have this little cloth with Mary because she represents healing, nurturing, just being there for you when you feel at a loss. And then I have a picture of Jesus holding the lamb. These are, I don't worship them. They're just there to help me, to remind me of the attributes of those which I'm actually trying to embody myself. Another aspect of communing with God is being vulnerable. So letting go of this to-do agenda requires a certain amount of vulnerability. So much easier to want to hold on to this paper and have it dictate how this is going to go. Instead, I'm allowing the vulnerability to be present with all of you because each of you is the divinity. I wish to have that connection with you as we are divinity, each one of us, and we're sharing in that divinity. So it's another aspect that you bring to your prayer practice. Vulnerability, meaning you don't have the answers. You don't come with an agenda. You come with a presence of, I just want to be with you. So it requires listening, openness, vulnerability, and what happens in return when you allow yourself to be open, you are given messages, you receive healing, and those begin to guide your life. And more, you can let go of the to-do list because you're living more and more in the present. You're more and more guided by divinity. And isn't that what we really want most of all? To be so connected to the divine that we don't feel the separation, that we do feel the love in ourselves and others? Isn't that what we really are seeking? Unfortunately, in our society, in many societies, we still equate coming to God with doing. Really, it's a listening. One form, and it's just a form, one form of prayer is to meditate. Meditation is just sitting in the silence, being present, coming as you are, as Rumi says, and just sitting in that presence and allowing all that you are in that moment to come and just be without judgment. Allowing yourself, in Rumi's words, to come as you are. I'm looking for a quote by Hildegard. Oh, thank you. No, but thank you. You know, that would have been really, really cool because I don't know where this came from, but I like it. Okay, what is it? What am I not saying that you want me to say, dear Lord? Okay. This is not what I was looking for. Then if I can't find it and being in the present moment, then I let go. Okay, this came to me this morning. There's thinking and there's reality. I can try to make the world conform to what I want through my thoughts, through my actions. But reality is it's going to be what it is. So thinking isn't going to get you closer to the divine. And reality equates with the present moment. This moment. Not when I get done talking, and not when we go outside later. It's this moment. So this moment, what are you feeling? What are you connecting with? This moment. We keep thinking that it's going to be later, but it's not. It's now. And the reality is the thinking keeps getting in the way. Keep thinking that we're going to do this later. I'll develop a spiritual prayer practice later, and then I will have the love that I want and the joy that I want. The reality is this present moment. That's the reality. There isn't any other moment. This is it. To find and to be that which you seek, which is love, joy, compassion, it's here right now. That's why the Lord has said, "Come unto me." It's already here. It's coursing in this room. One of the favorite ways of me getting into the present moment and to even prepare for prayer if I want to sit in silence is to remember that God is light and that I am light and that you are light. And it just begins to shift me. You may have something like that for yourself. So, and just one other thing that I wanted to touch on, the things that seem to get in the way the most, which I believe is kind of what Eric a little bit addressed today, is fear. And I'm really bringing this up because it's something that's touched my life. And the thing that gets in the way when I come to God in prayer often is, I'm not enough, or God won't listen to me. This prayer is not important enough. I'm not important enough. Or I want this problem to go away, and if you don't make it go away, then I'm going to be hurt because you didn't do what I want. That's all fear. So Jesus in the Gospel of Mark said, whatever you pray for, believe you have it. Believe you have it. Believe you have it. And it will be yours. And I would add, believe that you are it. You already are it. You already are the love and the compassion. So I'd like to close. To sum up, your life is an unfolding prayer. Each moment is calling for you to live that prayer. And the song said today, every thought is a prayer. Because if your thinking is not aligned with divinity, you're not going to feel that sense of light and love and spaciousness that's already there. So I encourage you to take the time to begin a spiritual practice where you sit or stand or dance, whichever works for you. But take that time to commune with God, divinity, spirit, in whatever way works for you. Then we begin to see all of life as holy. We begin to understand who we are. We begin to open the channels of divine love and receive all the energy from God to help direct our lives. And we can perform miracles, just as Jesus did. Miracles in our own life and that of our friends and loved ones and the world. Through prayer, communing with God, we can heal ourselves and others. And we can be the peace and the love that we've been seeking. And so that concludes my talk.